Hey everyone, this is Jamie Wolf with Life and Biz Hacks. You want to get better results faster and you want to be your best you. Here are some simple tips and tricks to do that. So, do you ever experience doubt? Because frankly, almost everybody does. So, if you're experiencing doubt, what do you do to overcome it? Now, don't be fooled because you've seen all these things before. Don't walk away. I want you to stick with me here because some of these things are very simple in concept, but not necessarily easy to do. And if you're experiencing doubt, you might as well stick around and listen through this to see if there's any little nugget or kernel here you haven't heard before that might be useful. Where's the harm? So be consistent, master your thoughts, prioritize, decide to be lazy, and be an influencer. The first one is being consistent. Commit to taking action daily towards your goals. Think long term so that in a month or 2 or 3 or 6 months from now, you're still going. Keep casting the vision for yourself and others so you remember why what you do today matters for tomorrow. So here's a silly, simple example. You got a dog, you paid a bunch of money for the dog has some issues, so you go get a dog trainer. Say one of the things that you're having problems with is you make a nice meal, you sit down at the table, and there's that dog looking at you with a big old eye saying he wants some food. And it's just not fun to eat dinner when there's a dog begging, so you want that to stop. So the first thing that's annoying is the trainer walks in the door, and the second the trainer walks in the door, all the dog's behaviors just disappear. And it does exactly what the trainer wants with no effort. So that happens consistently. But aside from that, the trainer works with the humans to tell the humans how to be consistent in their actions so that the dog can change its behaviors. Here's a likely scenario. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you don't feed the dog from the table. Day 4, you're having a down day, he looks at you just right, and you go, oh, what the heck, where's the harm? And you feed the dog from your plate, and what do you know, on day 5, there's that dog expecting treats, right? And now you're frustrated. So hopefully you understand that it's your consistency that's going to influence the outcome and that it's going to take a while to create your habits, or in this case, the dog's habits, or both of your habits, right? It's not going to happen overnight. And if you paid a whole bunch of money for the dog and you love the dog and the dog is still not doing well in a week, hopefully you're not going to get rid of the dog because things haven't changed right away. You understand that it's a long-term process. Say you planted a garden. If you then plowed over the garden on day 3 because you don't have a tree yet, that would be ridiculous, right? So I think sometimes we get so impatient for results, we forget that the daily actions of being consistent are what are going to help us get to our goals, that we really do have to involve long-term thinking, and we have to keep casting the vision of why, both for ourselves and people around us, so that they understand that feeding the dog from the table today actually does matter. And of course, if we're talking business or health or any other more significant things than getting your dog to stop looking at you with those eyes, then you have to cast the vision of why we're doing what we're doing so that it makes it easier to stay consistent. Master your thoughts. Again, this is not new. For heaven's sakes, it's not new, but neither is all the information out there on weight loss and building lean muscle. And yet we still buy new books and sign up for new courses and enroll in new gym classes and everything, because if it were easy to do, we wouldn't keep looking for the volumes of information that exist. What matters is how we're thinking and then how we turn that thinking into action. And if we've got the monkey mind going and the negative voice in our head, saying, my goodness, you've always failed in the past, or you've never finished what you started, or you tried and you let yourself or someone else down before. Know that your past does not equal your future unless you let it, right? So we're the product of our thoughts. Therefore, you want to focus on your vision. Remind yourself why you got started, where you're going, what's in it for you, what's in it for your family or your community, depending on what your particular goal is. You are fully capable of accomplishing whatever you choose to do. And the quickest solution when you're feeling down is to take action. Here's a simple action: breathe. If you're feeling particularly full of doubt, breathe. Take some big deep breaths in and out and in. Move. That'll help you breathe. Get up out of your chair, get up out of bed, get up off the couch, wherever you're stuck in a sedentary position. Get up and move. Go outside. Look at the sky, look at the water, take a walk, take a hike. Yell. Just get out there and move. Say you're in an office and you can't make a scene, make a list. Do something on your list. Motion conquers negative emotion. Again, these are not original thoughts, but neither is all of the vast amounts of information on health and well-being, and yet we still look for new things. So just remind yourself of these things, that mastering your thoughts and staying consistent in it will help you move through and past doubt. Prioritize. This one is so intuitive, it's easy to skip. I want you to do it anyway because it's absolutely fundamental. Each night before you go to sleep, I want you to write down. What did I say? I said write down your vision. Did I say think about your vision? No, I said write down your vision and why you want to continue on your current journey. Then list out the important tasks or steps you're going to do tomorrow to advance. So writing down your vision drills it into your body, into your memory, into your feelings and sensations. Just thinking about it or writing it down, once a week or once a month doesn't quite have the same effect. So write down your vision. You are grounding everything that you're doing in why you're doing it, which is what's going to help you get through and past the doubt, or even to experience the doubt less frequently. And then if you then go through the tasks that you want to do, A, you can stop thinking about it, so you might sleep better, and B, it will allow your mind to process this during the night while you're sleeping. When you wake up in the morning, spend your time in gratitude. Go to the gym at 5 in the morning like you usually do. Meditate while the rest of the house is still quiet. Whatever your morning routine includes, go ahead and do all those things, but also review your list. And at this time, while you're fresh, I want you to look at that list of 10 or 20 or 50 things that you wrote down all those tasks yesterday and choose a maximum of 1 to 3 things that you're going to do first that will have the greatest impact on your bottom line. And by that, I mean income producing activities. What's going to have the greatest return to move you forward on your goal, whether that's a financial goal, a physical goal, a professional goal, a networking goal, a community goal, whatever your goal is. Make sure that the things that you choose are going to move the needle that day. And know that you may only get to 3 things that day, because attempting to do 50 things every day is not efficient or effective. And I want you to do the things that maybe are on your chicken list, or they're the hardest for you to do, or the things that you've been putting off the longest. Those are the things to prioritize and get through. So even though you just made a list last night, go ahead and look at the list again this morning and then get busy on it. And then remember, tonight, do it again, but start by writing down your vision. Here's one you probably weren't expecting. Decide to be lazy. Creativity requires downtime. We choose a home-based business to have more time and freedom, right? So of course, hard work and dedication and consistent habits are key. Nothing happens without those ingredients. But to have the freedom and the exponential income growth you desire without working yourself to death, without having those 100-hour work weeks you did when you were in your corporate job, strategically piggyback on opportunities, trends, and systems that are already in place for your highest, fastest success. Because let's face it, if we're not achieving success quickly, that's when doubt creeps in. That's when it gets harder to stay the course, right? So if you've decided you are inventing the next coolest, greatest gizmo ever and you're going to make big bucks from it, and then you get bogged down on the actual invention or filing the patent or finding the manufacturer or figuring out drop ship and fulfillment or creating the website that goes with it or the back end or the payment system or any of those myriad things that are the infrastructure and support supply chain around a new thing that you're bringing to market. That's it's going to cost more and take longer than you ever envision, and the likelihood that the market wants what you're creating is iffy at best. So if your whole idea of why you walked away from corporate or your restaurant business or your brick and mortar or getting that fourth degree, whatever it is that you've left behind, or even coming out of retirement because you don't have the stability and the security that you had hoped for, whatever the reason that you are now doing this thing, know that you can piggyback on something else that's already out there, that looked at the trends, that's taking advantage of what the market is demanding right now, that has systems already in place, so you can spend your time and your effort on your best role, which is offering hope like you have found to others, right? And that, when you decide to be creative, when you give yourself a chance to take a walk outside or a nap in a hammock or having drinks with friends or coffee with friends, or you go participate in an art project, or you go play music somewhere, or you run around, or you just sit in reflection staring into the fire or off a mountainside or into the ocean, your brain, when you allow it to rest, will come up with a solution. The thing that's been causing you doubt, if you just let it go for a little while and do something fun and creative, you're going to come up with that aha that lets you move forward. And finally, be an influencer. I want you to write down your fears. Are you afraid of failing again? Are you afraid of succeeding? Are you afraid of public speaking? Are you afraid of leading a team? Whatever you're afraid of, write it down. Write down the worst that you can imagine that would happen as you're going for extraordinary. And finally, write down how you're going to feel if you lose your current circle of friends or even some family members who don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, and they're taking their own fears and their own judgments and imposing those on you. Because when you bring your fears to light, and I mean it when I say write down everything you can think of that you're afraid of, and then go ask why am I afraid of that, and write that down, and then go, well, why am I afraid of that, and write that down, and keep going until you've filled up pages and you've exhausted everything that you're afraid of. When you bring those fears to light, they diminish in potency, because then you take a look at it and you go, seriously, I'm worried about that? That the likelihood of that happening is, not there. Or if that did happen, that wouldn't be as bad as I'm allowing my thoughts to think they might be. So this is part of mastering your thoughts, right? And understand that you're here to add value and plant seeds. So that quest is going to yield fulfillment and so much more. So as you're journeying to extraordinary, to having your best life ever, where you contribute more and you feel more fulfilled and you're changing other people's lives and you're building a financial wall around your family and you're creating a legacy for your children and your grandchildren, and you're becoming someone that you never fully dreamed of being before. And you're doing all of that by adding value and planting seeds for others. Wow. And finally, give the others the gift of making their own choices. And remember, part of that is that you're giving yourself the gift of making your own choices. So say you paid a lot of money to go to school, and you paid a lot of money to go to graduate school, and you spent 10 years climbing the corporate ladder as an attorney or some other professional, or as a plant manager or high up in the system, whatever ecosystem that you're in, that you've really invested a lot of time and effort into it, and then you walked away and people around you are shaking their heads and saying you've made a mistake and you've lost your mind. Don't attempt to convince them of your way. That's not your role. Your role is to be solid in the choice you made, and if they want to stay on that path and be unfulfilled and overworked and losing, time seeing their kids growing up, let them do that. That is their choice. They're adults. Give them that gift. Don't argue, don't try to convince, but likewise, don't allow them to influence the decision that you've made for yourself, right? And then you're going to be surrounded only by people who share your vision. So you create a new family. Now, it does not mean that you are alienating and not loving on your actual family members or the friends you grew up with or the friends you made in college. I'm not saying you have to tell them they're all stupid and you never want to talk to them again. Just let them be. Let them be them. You be you. And surround yourself with people who are on a quest like you to grow, to work on self-development, to be more courageous and more alive than they've ever given themselves permission to before, and you're doing the same thing, so you link arms with them and you're all sharing the same vision. You've got a new family, right? And then don't forget that as an influencer, people are watching you. So those people who told you no 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, people who told you you were crazy, they're going to see what you're doing and they're going to quietly or loudly come up to you and go, I want what you've got. Can you show me? Can you show me how to do what you've done? I was afraid before. I see now that your courage is an inspiration. I want to help other people the way you've helped other people. So, speaking of helping people, I hope you found this helpful. Not rocket science, but sometimes you just need to hear that one nudge, that one push on a day that you're not having a great day, and know that we all have those days. So my heart is with you, and I hope that you're kind to yourself, and I hope some of these how-tos have just given you the little nudge that perhaps you needed today. And if you found value on this, I invite you to head over to jamieklauswolf.com. I'll put a link below. There's more free stuff down there, more stuff that I hope you'll find value in that can move you along whatever goal or journey that you're on to help make this world an awesome place. It already is, and more people like you working there to help too is fantastic. Thanks so much for listening. This is Jamie Wolf. Take care.